feeling bad? Got some news that'll make you glad. You don't have to stay that way. Don't care what they say or say. Turn on music. There's a way that you can use it to get lifted in your spirit. There's no need to fear it. Just hear it. Listen to the groove. Don't resist the urge to move. You ain't got nothing to prove. Your soul. Just hear it. Listen to the groove. Don't resist the urge to move. You ain't got nothing to prove. Just let it fill your soul.
Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Crystal. Morning, Misty. Garrett, how are you? Chris, how's everything going?
Roach, how are you? Welcome, 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 everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon.
How you doing, Brandon? Thanks for being
Hey. Smoke weed.
here.
Music has for centuries been used to put the soul.
Andrew, how are you, buddy? Thank you, Lori.
Nobody can deny. Don't let them things.
Morning, Lori. Andrew, how are you?
It's all about some things can fucking people, but that ain't gotta be you. Just hear, listen to the groove. Don't resist the urge to move.
Hey.
Just
Hi,
let it.
Kelly. How are you today?
Just hear it.
They were well behaved, actually, this morning.
The urge to move.
Oh, your reputation's getting out on TikTok. Misty's been hearing about your enormous penis.
I do have an enormous penis. You want to see?
You want to see? Woo! How you doing, Doug? Dancer.
Break it down.
Oh, I love that shit. That's funny.
If you are in the New Brunswick, Canada, Nova Scotia, see, I told you, Misty, I don't mess around when I get an implant. Good morning. We might be getting some surgery today. Get this thing sewed onto my head. Getting a little tired to lose it.
I thought you were about to get an enlargement.
I don't know why it keeps falling off now. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hello, Wake and Bake. If you're just getting up, that was Muck Sticky's new one. Get down. If you haven't downloaded it, or you can always hear it here every day. I play it 100 times a day because I love it. I like to get down.
Yeah.
How are you, Dr. High? Good morning.
I'm doing good. You?
I'm okay. I'm doing well. I'm having a great day.
It's a beautiful day outside.
You can never complain when you love what your work is. You know what I mean? You can never complain.
Yeah.
I love what I do every day. I love being here. I love hanging out with you. I love hanging out with my family, the family. It's never hard. It doesn't even feel like I work. Well, that's good because I don't get paid very well. So it's good because I don't get paid very well either. But
I'm going to say I already got about 8 hours in for today. So
yeah, right.
It's already been a pretty productive day.
I'm working on like 6 myself. So I had a question come in overnight this morning from a friend, and I want to get to it right away because they're not able to be here today, but they wanted to, they're going to listen to it later. So I wanted to get it so they, we should wait till the end so they have to watch the whole show. But no, we'll get it in and out. It's about her children. Okay.
Okay.
She has 2 children. and she has a few questions. Her children. All right. If CBD helps with the liver, does it help with the liver at all? She has a son. He is I have to go through the messages back and forth, so hold on.
Right.
He's 15 years old.
Okay.
He's 6
And
foot
he's got
1.
liver disease already.
He's 6'1" and 230 pounds,
Okay.
and he has a fatty liver, an enlarged liver.
Already?
An enlarged
Huh.
liver. I don't know if it's fatty. I don't want to call it a fatty liver. It says enlarged here, so
Right.
I'm gonna go with an
What's up,
enlarged
buddy?
liver. I
Okay.
guess what she wants to know about him, and she has another son she had a question about as well with ADHD, but he's a little younger. She
Right.
wants to know what you would suggest about CBD for either or either, or if you would, or what do you think?
Well, I've
And
never come across
individual.
anything that specifically discusses the liver other than when you talk about the
Well,
metabolism.
he's constantly complaining. She said he's always complaining about his stomach hurting and issues with his stomach hurting. So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, there is science that shows that cannabis is positive for nausea and vomiting. So stomach issues. Plus, when you look at
CBD, I think she doesn't want to go to the cannabis side yet for them yet.
yeah, you can always take a look, Garrett. There's never any harm in having a look at these things on ChatGPT or whatever you're using, because, like I said, when it comes to the liver and cannabis, mostly what I've ever read when the liver is being discussed is on how your body metabolizes THC or THCA, right, when you're taking it in an edible form. But I've never heard any discussion about somebody with specifically liver disease or a fatty liver or
let's take into
cirrhosis,
consideration here.
that.
Let's take into consideration. All right, I understand what you're saying 100%, and I agree. But what I'm thinking is, what would your overall feelings on children taking CBD?
Well, as far as CBD is concerned for a child, I don't think that is a bad thing, right? It's not THC, it's CBD, right? So THC is different, and I'm not sure that THC should be introduced to younger patients or younger individuals simply because of the lack of brain development, right? That's occurred. There's still quite a long time for the brain to develop. At 15, you have 9 more years before the brain's fully mature.
Right.
So,
and the other one's younger, 11.
Yeah, and the other one's
That's
younger. But
ADHD. Now, if you want to skip to the liver and wait for Garrett, there's Garrett now. I was going to say you want to wait for Garrett, but
see, that's exactly what I was just saying, basically, right? Whenever I see the liver discussed when it comes to cannabinoids, this is what they're talking about: metabolization within the liver, not whether in fact or not it can
help the liver.
Help
right.
with the liver, right?
It comes up about me and my stupid liver. I
right. And then
hate you.
The other side of that, though, is the endocannabinoid system, right? So he may be out of balance somehow. You know what I mean? Like the body could be out of balance. So when the body's out of balance, it tends to manifest itself in disease or sickness. Or so perhaps with the the addition of CBD and the increased activation of the endocannabinoid system, he could experience at least some relief from the nausea, or whether it would end up doing anything about fatty liver disease, I don't know. Now, ADHD, that was one of the things in our conversation with Dr. Harris that I'm not going to say surprised me, but that I was very interested in, was the fact that he does prescribe to kids with ADHD and younger patients who have it, and they do seem to find it beneficial, or Dr. Harris wouldn't be doing it. Right. So, are they in Pennsylvania, your friends?
No, New York. I'm pretty
New
sure.
York.
Upstate New York. Yeah.
Right. So they're not going to be able to access Dr. Harris, sadly enough.
No, but we can have Dr. Harris come on in next month. In October, I think we're having him come back on, and
beautiful.
We can write that down over there. I don't have hands to write it down, but write down things that we need to talk to Dr. Harris about. Because
I mean, that's one that stood out to me right through our last interview with him, our last time with him. That. So I'd like to expand more into it, because it's kind of a question that does come up more frequently. Is people concerned with how they can potentially include cannabis therapy in the lives of their kids to help them overcome some of the issues that they may be dealing with, right? So
absolutely. I mean, if you can help, you can help. You definitely want to be able to help them. I feel like my son, I noticed a noticeable change in his older youth, I guess you would call it, his 16, 17, 18-year-old age, where all of a sudden I didn't know. I mean, I knew, I had an idea, but I didn't call him out for it, because who am I to be a Benedict Arnold? No, that's not the right term. Whatever it is. But I can't sit here and get high every day and say, hey, you can't get high every day, that's bad. And especially when he came out and he was pretty cool, I was like, damn, you're cool.
Right. Well, that's what Dr. Harris was saying, right?
You're not a dick anymore.
It slows down the brain, right? So in somebody with ADHD, their mind is always kind of racing, and that's why they have this lack of ability to focus on specific tasks, because
I feel as though he had ADHD. Yeah, he had like ADHD ADHD, not OCD, ADHD, and it helps dramatically with his attitude, his anger, you could see things would get him angry very easy and frustrated very easy over simple things, and I'd be like, dude, good morning, Robert. Simple things, and I'd be like, dude, chill, man. And then all of a sudden one day he was just chill, and I was like, damn, who are you? Why are you not flipping the fuck out right now? and then
magical herbs.
We had our talk, and he was like, I didn't even know you did it, Dad. I was like, oh yeah, I do.
Good.
I do. It's medicine.
Yeah, no. So that's especially with either child, right? Being 15 and then younger than 15, I think that
11.
To move forward.
11.
Yeah, I really think to move forward, it's best done through consultation with a healthcare professional. If they're in New York, I'm sure they can find prescribing physicians in New York that they can.
I just feel like I can't trust anybody but Dr. Harris now. I'm like, you got to go to Dr. Harris, because like I walked through that festival that day, and that woman came up to me and she was like, yo, bruh, you got your card? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, hit us up when you got to renew, $60. And I'm like, so you're just a fucking drug dealer? And I walked away, and I said, no, I'll stick with my doctor, because you don't even know, you're not even going to care what's wrong with my brain, what's wrong with my body. You're just going to give me a card and take my $60.
Oh, I mean, some people are in it for the money, right?
Yeah, I feel like those people are.
A week ago, I saw something where somebody's operating a clinic here in Canada to help people get their ACMPR, which is their Health Canada authorization to cultivate or to use cannabis medicinally, right, after seeing the doctor. And they actually openly stated that it was $20 per gram per day for your prescription. That's what you had to pay to get the prescription, right? So basically they're saying if you want a 1 gram a day prescription, it's $20. And if you want 100 gram a day prescription, it's $2,000. But how, you know what I mean? Like how can that determination be made? Like, how does it relate in any way, shape, or form? You're seeing a doctor. A doctor's going to write a prescription. We don't know what that prescription is going to be until you see the doctor. So what is this set dollar figure per gram? How does that work? I don't get it. Well, you know what I mean?
You guys have HIPAA up there in Canada?
What's HIPAA?
where your doctors and nobody's allowed to talk about your shit. That's like your medical
Oh,
shit.
yeah. Medical confidentiality. Absolutely.
Yeah, we call it HIPAA
Yeah.
or something like that. You can't
Yeah.
break HIPAA. So how do you even know? I mean, who's walking around telling people what their prescriptions are? I guess amongst friends you could talk about it, but like,
Right. As a matter of fact, I have a T-shirt that has my very first prescription emblazoned right on the front.
yeah.
My very first license to cultivate in Canada. I got it put right on a T-shirt. So,
Speaking of cultivating, there's our friends Tailored Herbs and Concentrates. Good morning, Pothead. And
good morning up there. How's everything in Burnt Church? I
everything
like the
going
song
up.
you played this morning. You played a song about Canada. It has a little bit of old Canada in it and some other things about our national.
That should be your national
anthem.
anthem. That should be your
I
national
thought it was great. I think it was
Oh,
the first time I
Canada.
heard
Oh,
it. And I was
Canada.
like,
Canada.
I'm singing about Poutine, and I'm going back to the home of Poutine.
Of course, we have TVs and microwaves, you silly goose.
Yeah, that's it.
And we love our beaver. Oh, Canada. Yeah, I like that song.
Yep.
Speaking of TH&C, if you're up in that New Brunswick and Newfoundland and Nova Scotia area and you're willing to make that ride, get your asses over to Tailored Herbs and Concentrate. Make sure you go in and tell them that Hippie has an enormous penis, and you are going to get a free pre-roll.
Now, will that pre-roll be the size of your penis? That's the question.
So. That would be nice because it's enormous. But anyway, that's our phrase of the day.
Shamalama Ding Dong was yesterday's phrase. Today is he has an enormous ding dong.
You got to listen to the songs. You got to listen to the radio in the morning so you know the phrase that pays.
The phrase that pays.
I think that's. I don't know if I could say that. I've heard that on the radio before. The phrase that pays. So I take that back. I apologize.
Yeah, it is kind of true, Garrett, that you can't cross the border with a criminal conviction, and that goes both ways, right? Like going into the States, if you have a criminal conviction in Canada, they're very unlikely to let you in, and vice versa. What's that?
Isn't it a felony conviction? Not you could be convicted of something. And
a DUI in Canada is under the criminal code. So, you know what I mean? It's not like a driving offense, like a speeding ticket or careless driving or something like that. A DUI is actually a criminal offense. So, yeah, that could be.
Bite-sized Twizzler. Hey, I take offense to that.
Yeah, what do they used to call them? Nibs?
Nips.
Hey, what are those little nibs, eh?
That's what I had before. Now it's a man. I'm a man. Or a chewed piece of gum. It kind of does look like a chewed piece of gum.
Yeah, DUI comes under the criminal code.
You wad of bubble, you hubba bubba. That's what I'm going to call him now. Hubba bubba.
Hubba bubba.
Because he looks like a big old wad of chewed up hubba bubba.
You were wishing he was chewed up.
Oh, he was. You didn't see the video yet?
No.
Crazy Lori had that shit in her mouth halfway down her throat.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I don't know how she didn't get a fur ball.
That's funny.
Anyway, we probably should stop talking about my enormous penis and get on with the show. What do you want to talk about today, brah? Weed?
Yeah, I guess we can talk about weed.
What the hell?
Weed's good. Garrett sent me something kind of cool this morning.
All right, Garrett.
We were talking yesterday about about trying to set up a way to do giveaways in a right way, right? So this is what Garrett sends me this morning. He says, "Welcome."
Oh shit, Chris! Thank you.
Oh, well, we'll do this after 420.
Yeah, but I gotta. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go with THC. Oh no, I'm never gonna make it. It's already too late.
You'll make it.
I have to calm down.
You're bang on 420.
Put everything in alphabetical order, and then I will find it. Calligraphy with THC.
Hey, it's Bill Schmidt Jr., aka Billy Blaze, aka 420 Kid of the Holistic Cloud. R.I.P. to my man Derek Crum. I want to give a shout out to Calligraphy.
Oh, thank God,
my
Curly
dude
Cal.
Beans, little homie Manuel Noriega, Big Just, Rossi, Jack the Apostle, the
That's
lead.
good to know.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Big buds to little crumbs broke up in the bottom. Feel like autumn leaves falling. Only problem needs solving is seeing who I'm calling for some trees to indulge in. Need to holler at Billy. He keep his head in the cloud. Bel Air cookie. Wow. Screaming loud, still smoking, having nice dreams floating through space. So when they ask me how high, my reply, I'm half baked. Sir, smoke a lot. Doctor said I need a bacchiotomy. Prescribe me huckleberry and lemon cherry gelato, G. I take it back to rolling in the Optimo, blowing smoke out my nose, dropping ashes on my clothes till I doze off. I'm so fried, no lie. Got you afraid of heights, scared to look down, you so high. Cause when I spit that shit, it's like I lit that shit in the crowd, pass it around and let you hit that shit. We is all I need. So we is all I breathe. Nothing from my relief. I'm in love with THC. Roll that shit, lick that shit, burn it. 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 Good sunshine in my pocket on a Sunday stroll. Homie got the rap, give me the sack. Let the good times roll. Therapy, earth, body, and soul. World, give me beat. Bel Air cuss, give me mental control. L-Lit, back row. 5 past toll. The studio we roll. Bring relief. We the music, all I need to know. Healthier than hip hop. Mother, give me herbs to fill spot. My medication, kid to a kill shot. Many strands, laying hands in stressful situations. Out of all the girls in my life, maybe 10 a reservation. Here, the 23, raise their hands and liberation. Celebration, history free from information. Stand up, provide the right education. Show love, holistic cloud, politics throughout the nation. Making this the big and Billy Blunt stats, make the taste of weed. Weed is all I need. Smoke that weed. Weed is all I breathe. Broke down leave, broke down leave. Growing up in the leaf from my relief. I'm in love with THC. Roll that shit, lick that shit, burn it. 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 Roll that shit, lick that shit, burn it.
Catch you later, buddy. We'll see you later. Have a good day. Hi, Tina. Welcome in.
Have a good day, Brandon. How are you, Tina?
Men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out
Stay
there
lifted.
and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't.
Please, if you have a Facebook,
That's
if
what
you have a
caregivers
YouTube,
do.
go over and subscribe real quick and then jump back. I
Don't ever give
appreciate
up.
it. We're trying to get
This
that
is
up
your
to 1
time.
million. We're on our
Just
way.
tell the world,
We're at
your family,
111.
and yourself that you're tougher than tough. You go out there. And be
Yeah, I
the
love that show.
This world has ever
I would
seen.
love to have that pantry that those
Caregiving is
chefs
tough.
have access to.
And the care guides you
That's
need
like
at
a dream covered.
aarp.org/caregiving. Public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country. but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and
Say
the Ad
bye-bye to
Council.
bottled water. Holistic Health Water has certified medical-grade water ionizers that
Hi,
make 7 types
Patricia.
of water,
How are you,
including
sweetie?
healthy alkaline.
Good to
There's
see
a
you. Thank you for being
5-micron
here.
filter that lasts up to a year, and each machine lasts 25 to 30 years. Simply attach to your faucet or install under your sink. Even get a mineral spa unit for your shower. Go to ownyourwater.org to get a free ebook. Plus, pay for any machine in full and get an extra filter free. Change your water and change your life. Ownyourwater.org. Discover the natural path to wellness at Tailored Herbs and
We're doing great.
Concentrates.
We missed you.
With a passion for holistic health, we are your trusted source for premium herbs and concentrates.
Wait a minute, do they have weed?
Our dedicated team is here to guide you on your wellness journey. Open 7 days a week, 10 to 10, ensuring you have access to what you need when you need it most. Tailored Herbs and Concentrates is located
They're pot.
2941 Highway 11, Burnt Church, New Brunswick, Canada. If you need assistance anytime,
I need assistance. I need weed.
just call 506-871-4299. Tailored Herbs and Concentrates.
Where all the potheads go.
WTHC. What's the phrase that pays today? Hippie has an enormous penis. If you say that when you walk into Tailored Herbs and Concentrates, you're going to get a free pre-roll. Head on over there now. What's up, Hi? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Ah,
I'm doing all right.
me too.
You know, it's a beautiful day today. I
heard
have a
you.
couple
Yeah.
more days stress-free. The stress will ratchet itself up on Monday, but I'm going to enjoy the next couple days the best I can before I really got to start to dive into getting this place ready to go, you know?
What I want to say is Tina came across a CBD pen that is working very well for her.
A full CBD pen?
Vape pen, I guess, yeah.
Was that from a dispensary or from another?
No, she's in a state where they don't have anything, like, so she's buying that shit under the table.
Oh, they have hemp.
Speaking of that, DoktorHigh, Monday, right? Monday, everybody get your shit together. If you got your stuff to make the CBD, yeah, we're gonna do it on Monday.
Yep.
A friend, yeah, she got it from a
Nice.
friend. What's the best?
Nice.
We've told you this 100 times, Curly Kel. Please write this stuff down, sweetie. It's White Widow or
Harlequin,
or
Blue Dream could be pretty good too for
Blue
that.
Dream can be pretty good too. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, DoktorHigh.
But really, the idea is to lower the THC and increase the CBD. So try and find a cannabis that has a.
DoktorHigh has off tomorrow, or he might have off tomorrow. He has an appointment.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Tomorrow's going to play out.
We can't take a chance on Friday because we can't be sure. So we said, you know what? We're definitely going to be here on Monday. So we're going to make it on Monday. Get your shit together, huh? I mean, in a good way. Get your shit together because we're going to be doing it on Monday.
Yeah, tomorrow's still up in the air. I'm not sure. The appointment's early, but I don't know how long it's going to take. So,
yeah, it could be a long one. So we don't want to take any chances. There may not be a show. No, I'll probably come on and just chill with you guys and hang out, and we'll play all of our. You know what we'll do? We'll play all of our independent artists, and we'll chill out and hang out and bullshit. And we'll be here. I'll be here. If DoktorHigh comes in late, then we'll come on and we'll hang out together.
Yeah, it's just up in the air. We'll see how it goes because the appointment's like almost an hour away too. So, you know,
yeah,
a couple hours of travel time too, back and forth.
Don't
So
even know.
we'll see how it goes. But yeah, on Monday we'll do the CBD. for sure.
Yeah, so
Very
everybody
simple
still has
thing to
it.
do.
You know, we should put it out there again because you can watch it later. Make sure you go to GVB Biofarm. Say it again. G as in Gary, V as in Victor, B as in boy. Biofarm, one word. Biofarm. BIOPHARMA. Is it pharma? Biopharma? It might be pharma.
Biofarm, yeah.
Pharma.
Is it
PHA.
biopharma? I don't know.
I think so, but I could be wrong. But anyway, once you write that stuff, start writing that in, it'll come up. You want to go to the 99.9%. It comes in a gray bottle with a white swirl. You'll see a white swirl around the gray bottle. You're going to get the 99.9% CBD. You're going to get yourself some MCT oil.
Yep.
And you're going to get yourself some corrugated funnel thingy.
Graduated cylinders.
That's what I said. Graduated cylinders. And then we're going to make drugs. We're going to make drugs, everybody.
The graduated cylinder, you can kind of get around.
Bitch, I spent $12 on those things. That could have been another gram of weed.
Well, they come in useful. If you're gonna make it a lot.
Oh, and you're going to need a scale, right, Dr. High? We're going to need a scale.
Yeah, a scale is kind of an important part of it, so that you know your proper dosing for what you're trying to do.
Not one that you're standing on. Not one that you stand on.
No, it has to be a very at the very least, a scale that goes to 0.1 of a gram. And what's actually better is if it goes to 0.01 of a gram.
Yeah.
So a 2-point scale is
kind
kind
of
of
like a drug dealer scale. You want to have to go out. You can't use this scale. Hold on. Let me see if I.
Yeah, because you're only going to weigh out at the most probably a gram of powder, right? So.
Yes. So this scale will not work for you.
No.
This is
hey, Marcel, how are you?
This is not a good scale for weighing what we need to weigh.
No, that's so old school, man. I think I got one of those kicking around too someplace. You know what I also found the other day is I was looking through a box or something that I haven't seen in ages. I have a beautiful old balance scale.
Oh, the old triple beam. Yes, I used to have one. I stole it from
not a triple beam.
Oh, I stole it from
high school. One. Comes in a nice velvet box. You pop open the box, you screw in the balance part, you hang the chains, and it's got all the brass weights with it. So you put your brass weight on one side, your product on the other side, and when it balances, it's good to go.
Yeah, with the weights. I had a triple beam that I may have borrowed from my science class.
Yeah, I tell you, a lot of science classes lost triple beams when I was in high school.
I brought in a big duffel bag one day, and I was like, yeah, we're going to figure out how to get this fucker.
Hey, you know what the funny part was, right? In high school, we didn't have much use for a triple beam because not a lot of guys were moving that kind of weight. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I just knew that everybody talked about them. I don't think I ever used it to do anything with it. I just had it, and then I got rid of it. I lost it or something. I don't even know where it went. Oh, you know what?
In high school, we picked up an ounce every day.
I lost it in the house fire. I remember. I lost it in the house fire. Yeah, it sucked. But I didn't use it. I wasn't never a dealer. Never a dealer. I couldn't be a dealer. I tried. But I always smoked my profits and everything else.
Like the old saying, man, you can't get high in your own supply. It doesn't matter what you sell.
I tried numerous times throughout my life, and it never worked. Never worked. I always ended up owing the whole.
Oh, that's good. I'm just seeing Marcel says he's feeling quite well. That's excellent news.
Yeah.
How you doing, Steve? Today? How's life over there down under?
Yeah, I was never meant to be a dealer. So that was good. That's kept me out of jail because I probably would have been a dumb dealer. And I probably would have ended up in jail. So I said, you know what? This is probably better off. I'll just buy the drugs. Breathe, Doc. Breathe.
There are days I went to high school with 200 joints and came home with none.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to talk about the stuff that I sold while I was in high school.
Yeah.
Nobody. They look like nerds, and they were in my pen. I would pop one out, and everybody loved me.
Loved the nerds.
They would look like nerds, but they weren't nerds.
Yeah. Mescalines or
they made you
purple dots or sunshine.
They made you feel good for like 8 hours. You could deal with school the whole day. It was great.
Yeah. I don't know how many days, man. I went to school.
Take one in the morning, whoop, and you're feeling good. I got out of that business when somebody else, not me, somebody else put it into my teacher's cup. And my teacher drank hot coffee with a couple drops of mescaline in there. And I was like, not me, man. I ain't involved in that shit. And they took him out in an ambulance.
Yeah, because they don't know what happened, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole problem, right? When you tell somebody,
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing.
They don't know why. They don't understand what's going on.
I was off
You know what
that day. Yeah, I was off that day. I didn't know. I wasn't even there. I heard about it the next day. We were in a night school, we'll call it, for the troubled youth.
For us, that was summer school.
No, I did that too. But
yeah.
Most of the time, they were like, hey, why don't we focus you on the 4 main subjects? Don't worry about gym and all that other crap, music and art. Let's just focus on 4 classes a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. And you come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're here till 8 o'clock at night. I was like, all right.
Oh, no, I used to love summer school. You had a choice of going either in the morning or the afternoon. So you could choose which one you went to.
Oh, I'm positive it wasn't me, Garrett. No, it was definitely not me.
Summer school for us was great because regular school was just the people from your area, right? All people you knew all the time. But when you went to summer school, it was the whole district went to the one school. So now you got to chill with people from all kinds of schools that you never would have known any other way, right? So it was like a field day.
Tell us about the first time you got busted by your parents.
Who?
You.
Busted with weed? Well,
and how did they take it?
The first time I got caught, I didn't really get caught with weed. I got caught with money. It was a beautiful summer day. I was going to go pay my buddy down the street. I lived on a small street, only 13 houses, right? In a very small community growing up. And so I bought all my weed from my neighbor, pretty much. One of the other kids I hung around with. He was like 3-4 years older than me, but we just lived at the end of the street, right? All the parents knew each other and everything. But I was going to bring him money that I owed him. And I had a cigarette pack. I had the money folded up inside the cigarette pack because I was wearing shorts that didn't have any pockets. And I had the cigarette pack just tucked in the front of my shorts, right? So I'm getting ready to go out and I'm bent over doing up my running shoes, and the cigarette pack pops out. And my mom's standing there. And when the pack hit the floor, there was so much money in there that the flap opened up on it and you could see all the money inside, right? Well, she picked that thing up fast. She's like,
what
what
the fuck is this?
What do you got all this money for?
Why are you 7 years old and have $2,000 in your cigarettes?
Well, I was probably like 13 or 14, I would guess. And I might have had like a few $100s in there. But still, it was a lot back then. You got to remember, this is probably around 1980, right? And, you know, your parents know how much money you got because mostly they give it to you. You're not earning it for yourself. So I had to tell her that I owed that money to the bikers for weed. And she was like, I'm calling the police. And I said, well, you can do that, but there's a chance that these bikers might come here and rape you and my sister. So I don't think it's good. I think you better give me the money back so I can pay them, you know? And she was freaked right out. And, but she gave me back the money and I proceeded down to the neighbor's house and gave him his cash. And, you know what I mean? But it was funny. I had to tell her that it was the bikers we owed the money to. I had to pay. But I didn't really get caught with weed the first time.
I missed the part. Did you tell her it was for weed that I missed that part?
Yeah, I had to tell her something. So I told her
That's when
reality
she
of it.
found out you were a pothead.
Well, that's when she found out that I was involved somehow with marijuana, whether I was a
And
smoker or just a dealer, one or
I
the
want to
other.
know how bad the whooping was. How bad did you get your ass whooped? I mean, did Dad come over and be like, "What the fuck are you doing, messing with bikers?" I want to know the whole deal, man. I mean, unless it's too
Well,
personal, I don't want to know
my
about
my
your
dad came home kind of
dad
upset.
taking your pants down and beating your ass. I don't want to hear about that.
No, there was none of that. My father, when I was 13 years old, my mom hit me one day, and she used. Remember, you used to have those big decorative salad spoons and forks that people
Oh
would hang
yeah,
on
I
the wall.
was beat with those. I was beat with those.
So
Yeah.
my mom hit me with one of those one day, and she caught me right on the little bone on my wrist.
Oh,
And just out of a reaction, I turned around and I backhanded her and put her right to the floor because I was 6'2" and 180 pounds already by the time I was 13. You know what I mean? I was a big kid, but it just out of reaction, and I just backhanded her. I put her down. That was it. You know, I was like, "Fuck you," because that hurt. You know what I mean? That hurt. And
oh no, I've
I'm
heard
not
that
gonna be
bone
abused,
numerous times. Yeah.
you know. So when my dad came home that day, he was mad at me for hitting my mom.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
he
I'm
came
sure.
after
I'm lucky.
he
I'm
came
sitting
after
here
me.
talking to a DoktorHigh right now. I don't know how I'm sitting
Well,
here talking to
well,
a
he
doctor.
came after me physically that
Oh, I'm
day,
sure.
and I put him on his back. It was done. He didn't have a chance because I was wiry and fast and strong, and that was the end of it. Nobody ever raised a hand to me again.
Don't tell
Never.
my son, but I'm trying to
You
keep
know.
that fear in my son right now, and it hasn't been good. And he pretty much knows he can kick my ass. And
You know
I'm
what?
like, no.
I've never raised a hand to my kids. I don't believe in physical punishment. I think there's other ways that things can be done. Um, and I was one who got hit quite a bit growing up. And I guess by the time I was like 13, I was done. That was it. Fuck that. Nobody's going to hit me no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I
And
definitely
that
know
was
what
the
you
end of
mean
it.
because my
So there
parents
was
were
no.
both very violent people. Ugh, that's why I
Yeah,
have this
it's not the way to be. Like
I have
I'm
this
really not down
rage.
with the violence, right? At all. I don't. I mean, there's a time sometimes that violence is a necessity, right? You have to defend yourself. You have to defend somebody weaker from an aggressor if you have the opportunity to step in and do something like that. You know, like you're walking down the street, you see some guy slapping his wife, then you have to intervene. You see some guy slapping his kids, you got to intervene. You got to say something. But instigating violence or being the one to perpetrate it is not something I'm down with. You know what I mean? Just
Me
not
neither.
not me.
Not
And I'm big
after
enough to do it.
not after the abuse that I took. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this.
No. And I can tell you, 8.5 years in federal prison in the States, I only fought one time. You know what I mean? I only had to raise hands one time, and I had a very, very good reason for it. The guy's lucky that that was not what I intended to do initially to him, because his actions were way outside of the code inside of prison, and he was a black guy from Philadelphia, and what he did was really bad, and I had proof of it. So I went to the head white guy in my unit, and I told him, "Look, this is the situation. He's truly offended me, and something has to be done." You know what I mean? Because if it's not done, then I'm going to look weak, and I'm just going to have problems from here on out, right? So I have to take action. I have to stand up and be a man about this. What do I do? He said, "Well, you're going to have to go talk to," the guy's name was SB, and he was the head of the Bloods. So he ran all the blacks in that particular institution. So I went to him. I brought him the proof of what had happened. And I told him, I said, "Listen, I need to do something about this, but I had to come to you because you have to understand that this isn't about race, right? This isn't a black and a white thing. This is a man thing.
Morning,
This
Adrian.
is, you know
How
what
are
I mean?
you, bud?
Yeah, this is between men, right? It's not about race. So I needed to consult with you before I took any action." And he said, "Listen, What he's done is really wrong, and we'll take care of it for you, which meant that they were going to punish their own man, right? And I said, listen, as much as I appreciate that, it has to come from me. I have to be the one. You know what I mean? Because it's me who's been done wrong here. And he told me, he said, okay, you have 24 hours, do whatever you have to do. Nobody will intervene. So they gave me a 24-hour window to actually
now I got to
do what
figure
I had
out
to
what I'm
do.
going to do in the next 24 hours.
So, yeah, and I was going to burn this guy. This is what I really was going to do. I was going to mix baby oil and hot chocolate in the microwave and throw it in his face and burn him for life. Yeah, it was going to be really vicious. But then I was with an old mob guy, an old mafia guy from New York, and I was talking to him about it, and he said, "Oh, Dave, that's too severe." He said, "That's too severe." He said, "Just use your hands and do what you got to do." So I took his advice, and I caught Buddy in the chow hall, and we did our thing, and the cops let it go on for maybe 30 seconds, which is unusual because that's when you have the highest presence of correctional officers in the institution, is in the dining hall, right? When you have 400 inmates in there eating, that's when you got a lot of cops in there because shit can kick off quick. But they let it go. And eventually hit the body alarm, and they come over and they're like, all right, let's stop. And I get up and I step back, and they pull him back, and they take us both to the hall. So we're in the special housing unit, or the hall, they call it, the SHU. And I'm waiting, for several days, because usually you see what they call the DHO, which is a disciplinary hearing officer, which is usually a captain of the institution, right? They come in and they talk to you about what happened, and then they give you a punishment. They keep you in the hole for 30 days. They take your phone privileges or your commissary. They do something like that, right? But it wasn't happening. The DHO wasn't coming to see me. So I kept saying to the sergeant in the SHU, what's going on? When am I going to see DHO? When am I going to see DHO? And about 10 days later, he came, and he pulls me into the office, and he says, let me ask you something. Is this a black and a white thing? And I'm like, no. And then he says, does this have anything to do with this guy sending a letter to one of your people on the street? And I'm like, oh, you guys are going to have to figure it out for yourself. You know what I mean? But that's exactly what had happened. This guy had sent a letter to one of my people on the street, somebody he didn't even know. And in that letter, he said all kind of fucking shit about me that was just bullshit. You know what I mean? And the person he sent it to knew that, because they contacted me, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing giving this guy my information to contact me? I said, I never did that. You know what I mean? I never give him that information. So this guy, what he had done was we used to lock in at 9:30 at night. So I had just finished writing a letter, and they called the lockdown, and the mailbox was right outside his cell where you dropped your letters to mail them out. So he's like, do you want me to drop that in the box for you on my way down, as I go back to my cell? And I'm like, yeah, sure, here. And I gave it to him. And he must not have dropped it in the mail. He must have taken it into his cell and then read it and then took the information. You know what I mean? And it was a big thing. But when I came out, 65 days I spent in the hole, 65 days in solitary for that incident. But the reason they kept us so long is because he was 65 days from going home. So they had a choice. They could either let us both back out onto the compound, where the chance of this thing igniting again was was real, or they just held us both until his time was up and he was gone, and then they put me back in the compound. But I'll tell you what, like, as much as I didn't like doing it, I'm glad that I did, because I gained a lot of respect in the institution from that, both from the inmates, because I did things properly. I got my ducks in a row before I actually went and assaulted this guy, and it didn't cause any big ruckus between the whites and the blacks or anything like that. And from the institution itself, the corrections officers, because they knew what happened, right? They got snitches all over those places. So somebody had told them, and that's how that DHO was able to ask me specifically, did it have anything to do with somebody sending a letter out to your family on the outside or your people on the outside? So, but once I did that, I never had another problem in that institution ever. So it's not a path I wanted to go down. But in that time, in that particular incident, it was actually beneficial. So,
Right. I think I'm due for a commercial, ain't I?
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back after this commercial break. You're hanging with the Hippie and DoktorHigh.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome.
What is that?
Another one is totes.
It says Marcel was banned and their comments were removed.
Yeah,
As in,
Marcel
I
thinks
totes love
he
going to
can
the mall.
write stuff and
Another
that
word
I
you
don't
might
like.
hear is jelly.
And the only way I
Jelly
could
is a
get rid
shorter,
of it
better way to
was to
say
ban
jealous.
them. So he'll
As
be
in,
back tomorrow
Chloe,
as far as
I
I'm
am like so
concerned, but
jelly of your unicorn.
you don't put racist stuff in my fucking chat.
You don't have to speak teen to be a
Oh,
perfect.
he put something racist
Thousands
in
of
there?
teens in foster care
As
will
far
think
as
you're
I'm concerned, it was
rad,
racist.
just the same.
Oh, really? I didn't even see it.
Visit
I don't
adoptuskids.org.
appreciate any of that
Public
kind of
service
shit.
announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special
I
woman.
did my best to get it down
In
as
a
quick
matter
as
of
I could.
seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician.
And unfortunately, when I was doing it, it popped
Her
up on
knowledge
here
was
as well, and I was like,
limitless,
"Fuck!"
and still is.
But I couldn't get
She
it
could
out
also
of there.
make monsters disappear.
Right.
That
especially
shit don't
those that
fly
lived in the
here. That don't
shadows
fly
under the
here
bed.
at all.
Once,
I don't
I'm
get
very
how
surprised.
it's
put
not
back
at
together a
all.
teenage girl's broken heart, which had been
Yeah, I'm very
shattered in
surprised.
1,000
So
pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She
Oh, yeah, that's
masqueraded as a
very
regular
racist.
person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella.
Yep, that won't do.
I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Mississippi, why don't we take a ride to Da.Hippie?
Nick, how you doing, Nick?
Bella's badass.
Cool,
Crystal.
Marcel.
Oh,
Just
but I
be
thought you hung
careful
out with
with
them
your
on
terms,
Facebook and on
man.
TikTok.
That's
Stuff
only
you
on
may have
Mondays,
heard in your
Tuesdays,
lifetime
Saturdays,
might not be
Sundays.
appropriate.
Today, I want to go there and pick up all my great finds.
That sounds like a great road trip. That's Bella's
Yeah, the
Badass
world has changed.
Crystals on TikTok and Facebook. But da.Hippie find them at the top of the mountain in Dauphin, PA.
They are
badass.
Are you in the Owensville or Middletown, New York area? Revamp your space with Collins Paints Ltd. Ugly walls? Let Collins Paints Ltd add a splash.
Not
of
trying
color
to start no
to your
issues.
room.
Everybody
Painting
chill.
is the
We're
best
cool.
of an operating business. They can transform your space to whatever your heart desires. Say goodbye to the boring beige and hello to possibilities of bright and vibrant colors. The Collins Painting team are a group of skilled professional painters who will turn your vision into reality. Call Collins Paint Ltd today. Fast and easy quote. Available Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 845-869-8176.
WTHC. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. If you're over here on the East Coast, don't forget, Hippie has an enormous penis. If you get into THNC, tell them, make sure they know Hippie has an enormous penis. Well, DoktorHigh, what's going on, buddy? I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's a rough situation. You don't want to ever be in that kind of a predicament, like I've always tried to avoid any type of situations, avoid conflict. That's my way.
Yeah. And
Kill
I was
make them
this guy, right?
laugh, make them laugh, but you had to do what you had to do. And I agree with what you did, but
Yeah. Well, it was worse because I was good to him. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have a pot to piss in there. And, I had probably known him for about a year at that point. And you know what I mean? I'm a hustler. Like, I do my thing, right? So when they were taking tobacco out of the institution, I made sure I stockpiled some, hidden away. And I shared some of the proceeds with him of being able to sell some of it. And I helped him out get a pair of boots, you know what I mean? Like a pair of like street boots, you know what I mean? Not the regular prison issue, but you could buy from the commissary boots and stuff. And I was good to this guy. And then he turned around and did something like that to me. And it was really like, an insult. And yeah, I mean, it's a shame it happened, right? I wish it never would have. It wasn't what I wanted to encounter either, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago now.
Yeah,
But,
you
yeah,
can't
it
look
happened.
back. That's one of the things. You never
No.
look back. It's over with. It's done. Don't let it get you down. Keep your head up and keep on moving forward. Never straight.
Yeah, I mean, crazy things happen in places like
Never
that,
straight,
right? Like,
always forward. Never straight, always high.
I seen guys stabbed for $6, $8. I mean, for nothing, right? But it wasn't about the money. It was about their attitude towards it. Like I seen this one big guy from Jamaica. He was massive. They used to call him Bigga. He was big. He was probably like 6'6", 400 pounds. Just a huge guy. And then there was a little guy from Boston. He might have been 5'6" and 130 pounds, right? And the big guy owed him a book of stamps, and a book of stamps was worth like $8, right? And at one point, the guy from Boston goes to the other guy and he says, "Listen, I need my money. I need my book of stamps. Give me my book of stamps." And Bigga turns and looks at him and he says, "Get it in blood." You know what I mean? So come get it. If you're man enough to come get it, because he was so much bigger than this guy. Well, sure enough, later on that day, that little guy caught him outside and was on his back, stabbing him in the face and the neck, and stabbing. And his shank broke, and it went through the little guy's hand. So it's coming in here and coming out here, and he's still trying to stab the guy with it. And I mean, be careful what you ask for in that environment, because you just might get it. You know what I mean?
I'm going to do my very, very best to avoid that environment.
Yeah, that's the best of all. That's the best.
Long story short, avoid that environment.
Yes, that's really the best thing you can do is not go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they moved my job interview from today to yesterday, and they offered me the job on the spot. Well, that's great, Garrett. Nice. What kind of things you going to be doing? Hopefully, Garrett's going to come back and say, "My new name is going to be Garrett Beener, male prostitute."
No, he's going to be like dispensary pro. And he's
It's a pretty small town. I don't think they have any dispensaries there. But this is something that you can get into.
I said he's going to send us all weed.
There we go. Mixing minerals in the mill.
That sounds interesting.
Well, that's interesting.
I hope
We
they're
do not.
regular mineral. Yeah, you do. It's called Chris, and everybody over there. You just go to that dispensary. The Vault.
Yeah,
it's called the Vault.
You got to get prepared for next summer when you can do the big grow. I love seeing some of the images I'm seeing from people's work now. You're starting to see a lot of plants getting close to finish on Facebook, right?
Yeah, you see that? Everybody's getting ready.
I'll tell you.
I'm very jealous.
There's some beauties coming up.
Baby out there. I'm looking at my baby.
I'll get there. And next summer, if you do things proper, next summer you can have exactly the same thing going on in the back.
We're gonna have better. I've already started collecting tires.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I've been collecting them for years because I used to buy storage lockers, and you can't get rid of them fuckers anywhere. So I have.
You got to pay. I think here when you buy new tires and put them on your car and you want to dispose of the old ones, I think they charge you like $15 a tire or something like that, disposal fee or dump fee for them.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I have about 20 of them on the side of my garage, on my side of my shed over there. That I.
You're all set for next summer then.
Oh yeah.
That's good for 10 plants.
Yeah, all right. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have about 10 8-foot trees in my yard.
I don't know. Maybe when I'm back in Quebec, not this year, but next year, maybe I'll find myself a 3-bedroom place and I'll do a bedroom. I'll go get my prescription reinforced and do a nice little room for myself. I would like that. In some ways, I love the environment, right? I really do enjoy it. But
now, Dr. High, I have to tell you that this THC tailored herbs and concentrates festival
Yes.
sounds like it's a pretty much a go. I want you to know. So you better keep your calendar free in July because we're going to Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. We're gonna
That could be
party.
done. I could do that. I could do that by train. I could do that by plane. I could do that by bus.
I could do that by train. Wonder if we can do that by train.
You know?
Can we train from here to Canada?
Oh. I would imagine you could.
Amtrak or something. You know, like all aboard.
Yeah, you'd probably be Amtrak to, let's say, Toronto or someplace like
More
that.
than
And then
welcome
you'd
to
switch
join us, Chris.
rail.
Anybody's welcome to come. Muck Sticky's probably gonna play. I don't want to say guaranteed yet because nothing's been signed, but it sounds like
That'd be
he's
fun.
interested in going. Calligraphy said they were interested in going, so they might be going. I don't know, but everybody who wants to go can go. No, I don't think we'll have the THC jet plane by then, but I am manifesting.
Maybe we could borrow Led Zeppelin's old plane.
What I'm thinking is I want a helicopter because then I can just fly around and pick everybody up one by one and drop with a ladder. Like drop it down and climb down.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, that'd be a blast. You know what I mean?
Marcel,
From the events I've been to, I've been to some cannabis events, and I just love the environment. Really, you know what I mean? Like, and especially in a situation like on the First Nations territories, where you really do have a lot of opportunity to enjoy it to its fullest, right? Without any kind of restriction. And, you just got to be a good human being, and the rest is available and better product than you can find in the Health Canada distribution network. So,
Yeah. So,
That'd
from
be
what
a lot
I'm
of fun.
hearing, it is not going to be on Indigenous land, but it will be on land. That's good.
Well, that's good. Although they got a lot of water around there, but it's beautiful. The east coast of Canada is really very, very nice land, very nice territory. You know what I mean? Like,
There you
visually
go.
beautiful.
Your little pad right on the top of the bank. Yep. And I'll land it right there for you, buddy. I won't make you go up the ladder. You can just jump right in. You got shotgun.
That's
Marcel,
it.
buddy.
Have a good day, Marcel.
I'm not mad, bud. Just, we got to be careful. I have a lot of friends, and I don't want to offend anybody. I love them all.
Well, we don't want to offend anybody, friend or foe. Really? Right. I mean, there's
I
no
try
reason.
not to offend anybody, but people get offended by me sometimes. I know it happens. I'm a little crazy. Mississippi's home.
I couldn't tell you, Garrett, about the Northern Lights. I haven't seen them for a long time because usually, by the time the Northern Lights would pop up, I'm already well asleep. I get up early this morning. I was up at about 20 after 3. And I was on the computer by about 5.
You're crazy.
So,
yeah,
my problem is I wake up at some point during the night and work pops into my head. And then I'll lay there for another 15 or 20 minutes thinking about what I just thought about. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go get on it. I'm going to go have my coffee.
If you forget it, then you'll be pissed, So I get it. But I just take a chance.
Well,
fuck it. If I forget, I forget.
Well, right now I'm in the tedious part of what I do. You know what I mean? Like the designing part, I really like, creating the art and doing the designing part and all that I like. But right now I am making mock-ups. So I'm working with the models and getting the, you know what I mean?
What you need to be working on is our commercials so we can go to PGD, Pace TV, Radio, CBG TV.
We have I messaged a little bit with Al.
We have
yesterday.
to have
Hold on, let me pull it up so I can
video. We have to have video commercials, I think.
I'm actually gonna pull up my. Al sent me a message yesterday that I responded to this morning, and I just have to get back to it. But I'll give it to you.
About Hippie's enormous penis.
It did, but I just don't want to get into those details.
Okay, all right. I understand. You can tell me later.
All right, so here, let's see. All right, so Al said to me yesterday, He said, I'm just following up on last week's get together. Did you come up with a name for the show?
Yep.
And would you need to create an intro? Do we need an intro created? And then he says, other than that, I assume everything else was okay, or are there some questions? If everything is good, I'll forward the paperwork to you or Michelle. Let me know whom. And seeing as Mississippi has already done this paperwork, I think it would make sense if.
Yeah, I think she still has it, so it's
up.
pretty much filled out. We might have to white out a name or two, but
yeah,
and change it to you. But besides that, I think everything else is pretty much filled out. I will check with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell Al it's a go. It's just a matter of us getting it together. And I might have the ability. I have a friend now who has some talent, so I might be able to ask him to help us, and he might be able to help us with an intro. Something.
There we go.
So.
Yeah, so we'll have to kind of figure that out. We do need to come up with a name for the show, I guess.
Yeah,
and then
come up with a name for our show.
The message finishes with, and then once everything is signed, we'll have access to the assets, such as the promos and everything else that we have to do to comply with. For them, because they have some promo stuff that has to be included and stuff like that, which is totally normal. So, so I just got back to them.
They said,
and I said,
what about a name like High Science?
Yeah, possibly.
High
Science.
Science.
We're gonna have to figure it out for sure anyway. But I just told him, I said, we haven't come up with a name yet. It's harder to do than I would have thought it would be.
Never would think. Two fat high guys.
I told him I'd talk to you about the rest today.
Yeah.
And
well, we have 10 or 12 people over there. Come on, start spitting out some names for the Dr. High and Hippie show. We got to have a name. We're going live. On TV.
I think Garrett might be pretty much right there, because it works, right? Hanging with the Hippie and Dr. High. I mean, it's simple. It's what we do every day. You know what I mean?
And it's not necessary. I mean, I want it to be people to know, though. I want people to know that they can come and ask questions, and maybe we put a question mark on the end of it. So are we hanging with the Hippie and Dr. High?
Yeah. I know, like it's weird, right? You think it would be so easy to come up with something like that, but anytime that I set my mind to it, I just can't figure it out, right?
Why don't we let everybody think about it tonight, and tomorrow on Friday, whether you're here or not, I'll make a decision. No, I'm just kidding.
There we go.
I forgot you weren't going to be here. You might not be here.
How about talking herbs with the Hippie and Dr. High?
Talking herbs? I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know. It's got to have a ring to it, right? Like, we want it to be catchy. We want it to be.
Yeah, we want it to be some people that remember it. Yeah, I want people to remember it. I want it to be forever as well. I want it to be permanent.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that has to write it every day. So remember, spelling counts.
Spelling counts.
That's why it's always hanging with Da.Hippie and Dr. High, because that's all I can spell.
I was talking with my mom today.
You asked her?
No, but I haven't seen her that much. I mean, considering she lives next door, I haven't seen her a lot for the last few weeks, because I've been so absorbed, right? Like, my days are taken up with doing this Etsy stuff, and then I come on the show, and then usually after the show, I still put in another hour or 2 hours doing what I'm doing. Right. And then by the end of it, I don't want to do anything, right? I want to plop onto the couch, have something to eat, smoke a joint, watch a movie or watch some TV, or just chill, basically. So I haven't been over.
What we're going to make for dinner. Think about what we're going to make Mrs. High for dinner.
Yeah, actually, she got kind of cheap today, because I was going to cook before she went to work today. I was going to make burgers. I have this beautiful Ninja grill. I don't know if you've ever seen those Ninja foodie grills, but I'll tell you what, such a good investment. I've had mine for like 3 years now, and this thing is as good as a barbecue, except it's easy.
And it takes all the fat out. It cuts all the fat out too, right, Dr. High?
Well, because it has a grill plate, so all the fat drops below. So yeah, you're not cooking. It's not like cooking in a frying pan, right? In a frying pan, you're stuck in the grease, but with this, the grease actually goes below the food because it runs through the grill.
Kind of like the George Foreman, but shout out to George Foreman.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, this Ninja, I would suggest it to anybody. It is just the most awesome thing. If you're a family of 4,
wait a minute. Do you have Ninja as a sponsor over there, and you're not telling me?
No, it's just one of those products that I'm just so happy with. You know what I mean? Like I really love it. It was the best couple of $100 I ever spent in the kitchen, for sure.
I'm just kidding.
You know what I mean? Like before, I would have hesitated to go out and buy myself like a $40 rib steak or something like that, because on the barbecue you got to rely on other things when you're cooking it. It doesn't come necessarily right. But this has a probe, so I can just plug the probe right into the meat and say what kind of meat I want, whether I want it rare, medium, well, however I want it cooked, right? And you just press in the buttons and close the lid, and the thing beeps when it's ready. And I'll tell you, it never misses. Never misses. You never overcook your chicken till it's dry. You never dry out your pork. Your steak is just the way you want it every time. It's just awesome, this thing. But anyway, I was going to make hamburgers, so my wife had to take to work today. But that meant that I was going to have to eat before the show, because I'm not going to cook hamburgers and then reheat it later. It's got to be right off the grill or not at all. So I was saying to my wife, it was 20 after 11, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to get this done in time. She's like, it's okay, David. I still have half my sandwich from yesterday. So I'm like, okay, I'll cook later.
All right, we had a couple good names I saw here.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Puffin Prognosis is good, eh? I like this one. What else do we have?
Talking and Toking Herbs with Dr.High and the Hippie, or the Hippie and DoktorHigh, whatever. Air fryer. No, that's not the one.
Puffin Prognosis. What's another word? Instead of consultations,
consultants.
Like I like the Puffin Prognosis for sure. The Hippie and DoktorHigh, obviously, because that's who we are.
We don't have to have consultations. Just stop it right there. Puffin Prognosis with the Hippie and DoktorHigh.
But what's a fancy word for like conversation? You know what I mean? That starts with a C, so it runs well. Like cannabis conversation could be Puffin Prognosis, DoktorHigh, or the Hippie and DoktorHigh, cannabis conversations, or it could be, I don't know, what's a better word for conversation?
Talking. Talking.
Yeah, there could be a dirty joke about meat probing, but we'll have to ask the Hippie because he's the one with that new piece of meat. So he'll be thinking about that. There it is. There it is. Oh yeah, there it is.
I'm so proud. Anytime anybody wants to see it, just let me know. I'm very proud.
I'll whip it out, buddies.
Whip it out.
Yeah, I think we kind of want to stay away from the word consultation, kind of.
I kind of want to stay away from the fact that we're high, you know, like we're not the average show. We're not high. We're here to help, you know, like that's, I mean, we're high. Of course we're high, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's a word that's in my mind, but it's just not coming to the tip of my tongue. You know what I mean? That would maybe work at the end of that. But I kind of like Puffin Prognosis.
Correspondence. Correspondence.
Cannabis correspondence. Could be.
Puffin Prognosis with the Hippie and DoktorHigh.
Oh, Lori, congratulations.
Oh,
that's
shit,
wonderful.
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, DoktorHigh. She got her car.
Well, I'm seeing first. She says, I got my medical card. I'm legal. A big penis.
A big penis.
That's like a fixation, I think, Lori, to go from
enormous.
One to the other. Like that.
It's not big, it's enormous. You have to say enormous when you go in there. Session. I like session.
The cannabis sessions. Puffin Prognosis, the Hippie and DoktorHigh cannabis sessions.
That seems like a lot of fucking writing for a guy who has a puffy hand here. Prognosis.
No, I think we kind of want to stay away from like smoke sesh, though.
You know, because then they think we're going to be sitting here getting high the whole time, you know, and I'm not doing
the herbal hour or two. The herbal
safety
hour
meeting.
or two.
I always like safety meeting. That's always a good one.
There we go.
Puffin Prognosis, the Hippie and DoktorHigh safety meeting.
Garrett, don't lose track of those. What I'm going to want to do is maybe Monday, Tuesday next week. We'll put them all up and we'll try and get
amazing.
We'll try and get a vote, or maybe we can somehow get these names up onto Facebook and see if we can get some. You know, we'll do like a poll or something and see what the people say.
Yeah, we could do like a vote.
You know, I mean, it would make sense to put it into the hands of our.
We can put them all on the wheel and do the wheel of elimination.
Yeah.
And make whatever's the last one.
Yeah, that's it. Keep working on that because we're going to want to be set up. My transition to Montreal is kind of when we're going to transition. I think a lot about this show. Like I was talking with my mom this morning, that's where I was going with it.
Oh yeah, that's
and she was like, "So, you know, what have you been doing?" And I was telling her what's been going on, and I told her, but you know, like right now, I'm just trying to get all my products done. So by the time I get to Montreal, I can sit down and I can start to really focus on this, what we do, right? To try and structure the shows better, to try and spend some time to put together, you know, so it's more structured. Like today we're going to discuss this Wednesday, you know, so we can actually promote and say, listen, you know, come in on Wednesday and we'll be discussing this or whatever the case may be.
Some sort of a schedule up as well. You know, we can, well, I think that they actually put a schedule up over at Pace Radio and CBG TV. They have like a schedule where you can go there and you look and it's like a TV guide and you see when DoktorHigh and Da.Hippie are going to be on. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to be on the same time, so it'll be all right. But
yeah, because that's an open slot for them.
Right.
Noon
It works
till 2.
It works perfect for us. Yeah. So we'll be there from noon till 2. I mean, we'll still be here, right, DoktorHigh? I mean, technically I should have done it today and I forgot again. Damn it, because I went and I looked, and I am a member of what you said, CBG TV.
Oh, CBG TV.
And I forgot to.
And that's one thing you guys can do out there if you want. You can head on over to CBG TV and join them. They have a lot of really good shows on there, like shows like we're doing, but cannabis content and information.
No real music though, right? They don't have like a music station. Oh,
not
Pace
that I've
Radio.
heard. No,
Pace Radio might be music as well.
Could be.
I don't know. I have to check it all out.
Oh, you just had a birthday, Nick. Happy birthday. You had a good birthday. So that's good. Did you smoke lots of weed?
He doesn't smoke weed. He drinks alcohol. He's an
alcoholic. Did anybody give you the pleasure of their toes for your birthday?
Yeah, there you go. Now we're talking, Nick. Nick, did you get a foot dance? Any good photos? Ladies, gentlemen, he don't care. Men's foot, women's
probably
foot.
Like those dancers from Morocco and India that have the rings on their toes.
Oh, he's very into that stuff. Very into feet. No pictures? Your parents didn't even get you no pictures for your birthday?
Yeah.
You didn't tell mommy and daddy, I want foot pics for my birthday.
Or actual feet.
Or some feet.
You know,
yes.
it's kind of bizarre. You want to hear really...
We've already discussed this, and that makes us nervous. We think he has like a basement full of just feet. And if there's if there's anybody out there walking around with no feet, please hit us up. We might know who did it.
We might be able to hook you up.
We might know who has them.
You know, it's kind of strange because I've seen it on the news.
You know what's
few times.
You know what's strange?
In British Columbia, there's a stretch.
You know what's strange?
In British Columbia, that's
you know what's strange is we got to do 420.
Oh shit! Yes. The green room.
I'm a stoner, a roller, a real dope smoker, toker, a loner, dope smoke choker, play poker with owners for pounds that they're growing, tobacco in the bone with trees, real smoker. I'm a stoner, roller, a real dope smoker, toker, a loner, dope smoke choker, play poker with owners for pounds that they're growing, tobacco in the bone with trees, real moker. I'm a real one, 100 little lows at the end. I keep it real shit, I don't play shit. I earn dividends, pay my way, get the tip, hard work with my friends. Don't trip, small shit.
I think Garrett uses Chat GPT to send messages now.
Bro, that's what my team, we gon' plan for the best. Shout out
There's
to
like 40 of them here. 40 names.
Hit it twice, then I'm passing it. Gotta ask, then we tapping it. Gotta ask, then we tapping it. Roll a J, put the hash in it. Hit it twice, then I'm passing it. Gotta ask, then we tapping it. Gotta ask, then we tapping it. I'm a stoner, a roller, a real dope smoker, toker, a loner, dope smoke choker, play poker with owners for pounds that they're growing, tobacco in the bong with trees, real moker. I'm a stoner, a roller, a real dope smoker, toker, a loner, dope smoke choker, play poker with owners for pounds that they're growing, tobacco in the bong with trees, real moker. Fact is I'm up, y'all can never put me down. Smile on my face, it won't never be a frown. 10 toes on the floor, so I'm walking on the ground. Smoking the air, equivalent to a pound. I'm happy, no ego, I'm me, who are you? Blaze from the hash in a row, keep me cool. Don't need nobody, myself, not a fool. My brothers around, they license the tool. Fact is I'm up, y'all can never put me down. Smile on my face, it won't never be a frown. 10 toes on the floor, so I'm walking on the ground. Smoking the air, equivalent to a pound. I'm happy, no ego, I'm me, who are you? Blaze from the hatch in the road, keep me cool. Don't need nobody, myself, not a fool. My brothers around, they license the tool.
Are you in the Ellensville or Middletown, New York area? Revamp your space with Collins Paints LTD.
Chronic
Ugly walls?
consultant.
Let Collins Paints LTD add a splash of color to your world. Collins Painting is a veteran-owned and operated business. They can transform your space to whatever your heart desires. Say goodbye to the boring days and hello to possibilities of bright and vibrant colors. The Collins Painting team are a group of skilled professional painters who will turn your vision into reality. Call Collins Paint LTD today to get a fast and easy quote. Available Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call them at 845-869-8176.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so
interesting.
Yeah.
Nick, if you're still out there, the hippie's going to take some pictures of his feet and send them to you today because he forgot your birthday and he feels bad. No charge. No charge. They're free.
Conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know.
He's going to make sure to get a good picture of that crusty toenail.
A lot of hope too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Snarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Badger Heart Puppetry. Badger Heart Puppetry. Badger Heart Puppetry. If you need some kick-ass puppets, contact Sorge at 1-636-234-1535. He has all your puppet needs. He can fix puppets, build puppets, custom-made puppets. He has puppets off the rack for cheap prices. Contact Sorge today at 1-636-234-1535 or on TikTok or Facebook at Badger Heart Puppetry. He also makes LARPing items too.
Hey, Mississippi, why don't we take a ride to Da.Hippie, PA today?
Dolphin? What's in Dolphin?
Bella's badass crystals.
Oh, but I thought you hang out with them on Facebook and on TikTok.
That's only on Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, Sundays. Today, I want to go there and pick up all my great finds.
That sounds like a great road trip. That's Bella's Badass Crystals on TikTok and Facebook, but you can also find them on the top of the mountain in Dolphin, PA. They are badass.
Oh, yeah, baby, it's Mark Sticky, and you're blazing with WTHC Radio on Live 365 and tune in.
Sorry, I needed to get down. I was feeling a little low.
It is a pretty catchy song.
Feeling bad? Got some news that'll make you glad. You don't have to stay that way. Don't care what they say or say. Turn on music. There's a way that you can use it to get lifted in your spirit. There's no need to fear it. Just hear it. Listen to the groove.
The homegrown hour.
Your soul. Just hear it. Listen to the groove. Resist the urge to move.
Yeah.
The homegrown 2.5 to 3 hours.
Get down. Put some music. Lead us to our they get right down. Break it down.
The stash spot.
Music for centuries been used to the seas, and there's a reason why that nobody can deny. Don't let them things stress you out. That ain't what life's all about. Some things can fucking people, but that ain't gotta be you. Just hear it, listen to the groove. Don't resist the urge to move. You ain't got nothing to prove. Just let it soothe your soul. Just hear it, listen to the groove. Don't resist the urge to move. You ain't got nothing to prove. Just let it soothe your soul. Get down. Put some music. Need to move around. Get low, get down. And them funky music get right out of town. Break it down. Get low and just get down. Put some music on, need to move around. Say when I get low and just get down. And them funky foods they get right out of town. Say when I get low and just get down. Put some music on, need to move around. Say when I get low and just get down. And them funky foods they get right out of town. Break it down now.
WTHC. I feel so much better. I was feeling a little down, and when I'm feeling down, I gotta get down. That's what Muck Sticky says. How are you, Dr. High?
Just trying to figure out something here I'm seeing on Facebook.
Down? Are you down?
No. What do you know about? Do you know anything about Luxor Times?
Who?
Have you ever heard anything of Luxor Times?
Luxor Times. No.
It says an ownership link for Luxor Times was added to your video. It's our video from today. And it says one or more actions were applied to your video because of a copyright match. Changes to your video because of a copyright match. The following actions were applied to your video by Luxor Times because it may contain 30 seconds of content they own.
Ha! Ha ha ha! Hardy, har, har, har. I own this shit.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
My friend Muck Sticky.
I don't get it.
You know what I say? Fuck them. I could play another song by Muck Sticky. It's kind of like goes like fuck off.
Yeah, I
I
don't
got
know what that's
1,
all
2
about.
middle fingers and they're pointed at you.
Bizarre.
Yeah, probably the music. They don't understand that I'm friends with Muck Sticky. They don't know.
Yeah. But I just didn't know what Luxor Times was. I've never heard of it, right? I don't want to make sure it's not some.
It's
some
weird
scam.
because I never get any of that kind of shit from you. But maybe because I'm a DJ and I have the rights to the music, and you're on and you don't have the rights, so maybe because it's playing in your live as well,
could be.
You're getting it, and it's really you don't have the rights because you're not a DJ.
Yeah, could be.
You're getting in trouble. You're getting in trouble.
That's not the first time.
You're gonna get banned.
Well, that wouldn't be good for anybody.
No, that wouldn't be good. No,
so I'm looking through. Garrett sent me a lot of names, but there's a couple that pop out at me right away, Hippie. Like, where is it?
Extreme
the joint
handsome
journey.
hippie.
Puff and Prognosis, Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh's joint journey.
Oh.
Puff and Prognosis, Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh's potent perspectives. Where's another one I really liked was Puff and Prognosis, Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh's dank dialogues.
Very nice.
That one popped out at me.
Very nice. Yeah, that's nice.
THC theories. Bud Breakdown, Puff and Prognosis, Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh's Bud Breakdown. There's some good ones here. We'll have to really reflect on them. There's like 50, so I have to go a little more.
Like
but
50 of them there. Plus, we have a fucking couple up here in the chat that were pretty good too.
Yeah,
they get in there, and then we'll just make a vote. I don't think we have 50 people that watch though. That's not going to be easy. Break it down.
That's too many anyway. You know what I mean? Like
we only have 111 followers, bro. We're like,
yeah. Well, this is the thing too, right? It's very hard for people to make a decision when they have too many choices, right? That's why it's easier. Like if you only have like 4 choices or 5 choices.
How about this? You and I will bring it down to 5 choices, and then we'll let them do it. But
yeah, that's what Garrett just said.
I'm going to need somebody to make a Facebook thing. Hopefully, somebody with like 1 million followers.
Well, Garrett just sent me a message saying, like, if you narrow it down, he'll create the poll on Facebook, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and then we gotta get as many people over there to get it though. There's a magazine and Facebook page that primarily focuses on Egypt and its rich history and culture. However, the provided search results do not contain specific information about copyrighted related to Luxor Times Facebook videos.
Thanks, Garrett. I don't know what
Dustin Lamb. How are you, buddy? I got some hash in this joint.
What music could the Luxor Times be laying claim to? I don't know.
Maybe calligraphy, or D Flow. I
you
played
doing,
D
Dusty?
Flow, Calligraphy, and Muck Sticky. So those are the only songs that I could have gotten in trouble for. Dustin, I
Yeah,
put some hash in this one. It is a very good joint. With a lot of hash in here, though. It's burning nice and slow. Oh, Dustin gave me some hash when we were away on the vacation, so I've been smoking it slowly.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. If you could, Garrett, send that same list you sent to me to the hippie, and we'll go through and we'll pick a few of them out, and then you can create the poll, and then we'll just share it out to everybody.
Yeah,
and you don't need 1 million followers, because between the Facebook groups that we're in, we could reach 1 million people.
Well, I'm not allowed to share anymore today, Dr. High. I got in trouble for 24 hours because I shared a whole bunch about this show today.
Oh,
yeah, it was. I don't know. It was weird. I shared about 100 times, and then they said you're suspended for an hour, 24 hours, buddy.
I haven't posted anything for like 3 or 4 days.
I know. I didn't have to share anything about you. That's why I was surprised, because usually I get in trouble when I'm sharing your shit. But today it was my own shit. No sharing your own shit.
I haven't posted anything because I've been just distracted trying to get this stuff done.
Was that a sneeze? Was that a sneeze? The slow burn.
No.
The slow burn. I like that one too.
That's what Hippie's going to get if he keeps playing with his new junk with that joint in his hand. He's going to get the slow burn.
The junk is actually staying well behaved today. He's actually still in his clothing. He's not coming out. So I'm all right.
You need to cut a little hole in your robe so you can just proudly be free and enjoy some fresh air.
You'll see when I get aroused in the future how it'll be hanging out. Don't worry about it. Right now, you just be calm over there, fella.
Just be calm.
Just be calm over there, because you don't want this trouser snake to come out.
So there's some interesting articles I come across.
Oh, good, because I'm tired of talking about my dick.
Yesterday and today. Are you?
Well, it's getting a lot of the ladies have been hitting me up, want me to send photos. It's been bad.
See, now most of the time they don't like those kind of pics, and now they're looking for them.
Now they want to see it. Yes, everybody's like, Hippie, can we see your new member? I'm like, yeah, I guess.
So here's an article in the Boston Herald.
I wish the big guy would get the same approach, but no. All right, go ahead. It's from the Boston Herald.
From the Boston Herald.
Okay.
And it's dated 3 days ago. It says, really high school. Proposal would allow students to use medical marijuana at school.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So it says.
Brilliant.
Bay State High Schools.
ADHD. Those kids with ADHD, man, they need it.
But that kind of goes back to what we're talking about, right? Young people being prescribed cannabis and using it. So this kind of fits right in.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's sit back on that, because some of the family members may be here now. So we might be able to talk about it again, and they might be able to hear what we were talking about earlier with the CBD and children and how wonderful it would be.
Well, I don't know if they're going to get into that in this article, but what it says is Bay State high schools may soon have stoned students lawfully roaming the halls. Under proposal heard by the Legislative's Joint Committee on Cannabis Policy on Tuesday, Massachusetts students with medical marijuana prescriptions.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt. My high school had a lot of stoned students roaming the halls, and there was no difference.
But not lawfully.
Well, yeah, illegally, but I mean, what the hell's the difference if you're high and you're legally high, or you're high and you're not legally high? You're still going to create a ruckus in high school.
But the interesting thing is that they'll be able to consume at school
on their lunch
I
break.
Think. Well, I don't know. We're going to find out what it says.
Have like a legal cannabis area where you can go smoke your legal cannabis outside.
I guess so, because it says Massachusetts students with medical marijuana prescriptions would be allowed to use pot on school grounds. This issue is incredibly important, State Senator Susan Moran told her colleagues before speaking in support of this bill. Since medical marijuana was legalized in 2012, thousands of patients across the Commonwealth have been able to effectively utilize treatment under proper medical supervision. This includes school-age children, many of whom medical marijuana treatment has enabled to live more easily in their condition, she said. Under current state law, marijuana use and possession is generally prohibited on school property. That means a student who uses marijuana to treat a condition could go through the full day without their prescribed medication. The bill, according to Moran, would allow school-age students who've been given medical marijuana prescriptions to treat a serious medical concern to use marijuana while on school property, just like any other medicine. Finally, logic in government. What do you know? Yeah.
I have a question, sir.
Okay.
So why would they do it? Hold on, this might be a stupid question, but I'm a little confused. Why would they give children in a high school the rights to get high, but they're not going to give me, when I'm in the hospital with an illness and I have to stay for 2 or 3 days, the ability to get high? I just don't get it. Can you please explain that to me? I'm special.
Perhaps in Massachusetts, patients would have the ability to use at the hospital. If they're going to allow students to use at school, it would only stand to logic that hospitals would make
you would hope
would make the opportunity for that to happen, right? So, yeah, I mean, because I think it's illogical that a hospital prevents you from taking medication prescribed by a doctor.
I refused to stay in the hospital. I had my gallbladder out. They said, dude, that was a big gallbladder. We're going to keep you overnight. I said, do you have a location where you're going to push me to take me to smoke my marijuana because I have a medical marijuana card? They said, you can't smoke marijuana in the hospital. I said, well, then I'm not staying in the hospital. I'm going home where I can take my pain medication. Story over.
Well, it says that the bill would remove the restriction on possession and consumption of medical marijuana in school and on school grounds. Medical marijuana would be treated similarly to other prescription drugs. It should be carefully regulated and prescribed by a physician, but those with prescriptions should be able to take their medical marijuana when and where they need it, the Plymouth lawmaker said. If it sounds like changing the law would make every high school in the state into an Amsterdam coffee shop, Moran assures lawmakers that it would not be the case. Most school-age patients take their THC in pill form and would be hitting the bong in the nurse's office. Now, wouldn't that be a sight?
I'm going to the nurse. I got to hit the bong. I'll be back.
Yeah, that would be awesome, right?
A community bong, so we'd have to like sanitize it in between. I want fresh ice, Nurse Nancy. Fresh ice in my bong.
Yeah, it's very interesting. They don't talk about any medical conditions specific, but it's great to see that support from it at the level of a senator. You know what I mean? That's pretty incredible.
In the clouds with Hippie and DoktorHigh.
That's not bad. Hey, I like that.
Hey, take off, you hoser.
That's not bad.
You use that A word like fucking like
Canadian. What do you expect?
Yeah, but I didn't think it was real. I thought it was just
real.
The two dudes, the McKenzie brothers.
Yeah, it is real. And here, if you call somebody a goof, you better be ready to fight.
Oh,
yeah.
You can't say cunt in Canada either, I've heard.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is true. Apparently, according to the song by those
According
Australians.
to that song I play all the time, I am not saying that word when I get up there for the THC Tailored Herbs and Concentrate Festival of Life.
So here's an important story for those of you in New York State. I also came across this morning. This was published today.
Important good or important bad?
Important bad. A New York cannabis insider investigation has uncovered systematic public health failures at every level of the state's legal cannabis industry.
That's why you guys were like, "Oh my God, Hippie, your weed is so good." And I was like, yeah, because it's real, you fucks.
That's the difference, right? So it says from farmers to labs to state regulators, the experts say may pose a serious health threat to consumers. Top-selling weed strains available at licensed dispensaries from Western New York to Manhattan contain microbial levels 10 to 250 times higher than what's allowed under the state's rules for medical marijuana.
God, we all smoked my weed this weekend, huh? Oh.
Yeah, it says the majority of these products should not have been allowed to be sold to consumers as they may pose a serious health risk.
I feel like Gordon Ramsay. Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it all down!
We've talked about microbial many times, right? Because that's one of the major concerns in the Canadian industry here. And a lot of cannabis.
I've been dusting my plant every morning. I dust that bitch. I'm like, you ain't getting no micro nothing on here, motherfucker.
Well, that's basically mold spores, right? When you're talking about microbials, they're talking about mold spores.
Right.
For the most part. And that's the.
So what do we do now that we live in New York? We have to like go out of state and get weed somewhere else because the weed there is bad everywhere.
It's probably going on all over the place. So this is what they say. The state's requirements that weed be grown outside and not indoors has led to high levels of bacteria, yeast, and mold among products that experts say should not reach consumers.
Oh, my God. I just got over a yeast infection.
Despite its public health and safety mandate,
there are some issues.
Regulators have maintained a relatively hands-off approach to enforcement and have left it up to the farmers who are struggling to survive to decide whether their products are safe. Dozens of publicly available test results show that state-certified labs have consistently broken the rules for reporting pesticides, heavy metals, and other contaminants.
Heavy metal, rock and roll.
A necessary medical notice at this point, health risks associated with smoking or consuming contaminated weed can include allergic reactions, sickness, and in extreme cases, yodo.
Diarrhea. Oh, you only die once?
Yeah.
Oh, yodo.
Yeah, it says the most susceptible to pesticide and microbial contaminants include women of reproductive age, immunocompromised patients with cancer and HIV, and patients with seizures and epilepsy. The Office of Cannabis Management is responsible for the rules around adult use and medical cannabis, and the agency does not agree that the New York Cannabis Insider's findings indicate a significant health concern. So they go on to say a high yeast and mold count does not equate to a threat of public health. Cannabis grown outdoors is not much different than growing tomatoes or corn and lettuce. It's a natural environment with microorganisms. But this is the difference, as we talked about before. Much of the produce on your grocery store shelves has been irradiated as a part of its process to market, right? It goes through gamma radiation to kill the mold spores, the microbial, the bacterias. So this is a simple solution to making sure that the cannabis that's in the marketplace doesn't have these sort of issues, is by simply implementing a regimen where cannabis that's produced has to be irradiated before being packaged and sent out to retail locations.
Is irradiation good? I don't like the whole radiation thing in there, you know.
Well,
like
it's basically the same as when you go to the airport. The strength of the radiation used is equivalent to what your bags are scanned when they go through the X-ray machine at the airport.
Yes,
So
but I've never really had a conversation with my bag at the end of the at the end of the X-ray thing, saying, "Hey, was that painful? Did that hurt?"
Yeah, I don't think it is.
So I don't know. You know, like I'm scared.
But we've tested the product before and after, and there's no loss of potency. There are people out there that make claims that damages the terpenes, the weed gets less potent, it gets dry. But I never saw any evidence of it. And I probably dealt with, I don't know, 1 million grams of irradiated cannabis. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the number is, but I'm sure it's up there.
You said there was some letters, right? Isn't there some letters you can look on your package and you could see if your weed was irradiated or something? Didn't you tell us that a couple of weeks ago?
No, I don't think I stated that in particular.
Oh,
no.
maybe it was different letters for a different thing. But all right, go on. Sorry.
I've never seen that because a lot of companies like to keep that to themselves, right?
Well, they should.
They don't want to publicly disclose to their consumers that their cannabis is irradiated because people have this concept of what that is, but they don't realize
they have access to the internet, and if you don't look it up appropriately, you're going to think it's some sort of
something different, right?
You never know, yeah.
But it doesn't, because the packages I sent out, I used to package everything in 1 kilo bags. Then the bag would go into a sealer that would inject nitrogen into the bag to displace the oxygen, and then vacuum seal the product. That product went into bins. Those bins were sealed with a numbered seal, right? An individually numbered seal on both ends, which were all recorded. When they came back, I had to check the seals to make sure that they hadn't been changed and that that bin was the same bin that left and came back in the same condition. And I would remove the seals, open it up. The packages were never opened. They just simply went onto a conveyor in a whole pallet. So they'd put the whole pallet on the conveyor. They'd run it through this X-ray type scanner, irradiate it. It comes out the other end. They pick up the pallet, they put it back on the truck and send it back. The big problem with that is the expense. I mean, just shipping that out. Well, yeah, because you got to use a specialized courier, right? Because not everybody is.
Yeah, it's like an armored truck. You can't have just put it in the back of the station wagon and cruise on over. You got to get.
And they were like armored. These guys carried guns and girls. Did have sidearms.
There's a biker group that just happened to have a.
No, they were all.
Or were they police?
Ex-law enforcement or ex-military. Yeah. But just the transport of cannabis was $8,000. And then
truckload, like a truckload, you could fit 2 pallets in there or something. I mean,
there were different trucks, right? So if we were sending 3 pallets at a time, it would come in a different truck. If we were sending 1 pallet, it would be more like an armored car.
And did it all go at once? So like you finished a grow, everything got packaged, ready to go, boom, over to there, and then boom, back, and then it went to wherever it needed to go.
The first thing we did was take the representative sample and send it out for testing.
Right.
And then based on those testing results,
50 pounds, right?
No, like
5 pounds.
Harvest for us were on the low end 60 kilos, which is more like 130 pounds.
Okay. But no, I remember you saying there was a certain amount you had to send every time to get tested to that company.
50 gram representative sample.
50 grams.
Yeah, 50 grams.
50 pounds, 50 grams. My apologies.
Yeah, 50 grams. And then, so depending on the test result, when it came back, if the microbials were within the tolerance that Health Canada sets, and I don't remember the exact number now, it might have been 5,000 ppm, might have been 15,000 ppm, I don't remember.
Okay.
But if it was in the tolerance, then the cannabis was fine. It didn't require irradiation. But as soon as you exceeded that number, we had to send it out. We didn't have a choice.
Now, how come they didn't just do it right there? Like that same building have the ability to irradiate if it's bad, you know, like here's the 50 pound. Well, I guess you're not sending
probably the cost of the equipment, right, to do it.
Right. Well, and you're not sending it all. You're only sending 50 grams. So they're not only.
No, the 50 grams was for the test sample. If the test sample came back that that product needed to be irradiated, then we'd send the whole harvest, the full harvest, whatever it was, anywhere from 60 kilos to 100 kilos.
To the other place where they do the irradiating. Right. Okay.
And we were located in Alberta, but the irradiation facility was in British Columbia.
So if you're going to open a business, you might want to start looking into a business of opening up an irradiation building everywhere near a dispensary or where the grow factories are. right? That's a good business to get into, Dr. High.
Well, it seemed to be like a pretty good business because basically you're paying for the equipment one time, and you can process product through it, and not just in our industry, right? Like
I'm going to reach out
to the produce people.
I'm going to reach out to my friend Bobby today, I think, at My Tree. We became friends on Snapchat today. So we're going to reach out to him, and he, they grow right there. I mean, would that benefit them to have, if you were somebody who did that kind of stuff, would it benefit you to just irradiate immediately and not worry about it?
Well, it depends on what the cost of that equipment would be, right? As we all know, cannabis producers struggle financially. It's already a tough enough game to be in. And let's say that piece of equipment costs $2 or $3 million. Then, how many crops would you have to send out before you utilize that same amount of capital to do it? Like if it was $2,000 a pallet, like I think that's what we were paying. The shipping costs more than the actual irradiation. You could do a lot of pallets for $1 million. So
it would
you
take
could do
take a lot of pallets to make.
Yeah, like 5,000 pallets for $1 million. And on a pallet, you can get a good 80 kilos, for sure. And it's kind of funny, right? Because pallets are used to holding 2,000 pounds, but we load them up, but weed is light. So it was more about space, right? 4 feet tall had to be, and you had to package it within forever.
Wide and 4 feet tall with a wrap around that bitch. Hold that shit together. And then how many times did a forklift go into that shit and stab all my weed?
Well, we never used a forklift on our end, just a pump truck, right?
Pallet
There's
jack,
no weed. It's not heavy, right? So no problem there. And then
early guys could probably pick it up and lift it up and throw it up onto the truck.
As a matter of fact, a couple of times we did.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Myself
you had
on
to.
one side, and
You're in a pinch and the fucking thing doesn't come down today. The damn thing doesn't want to work.
Yeah.
Pick that shit
Our
up.
problem was more when the ground was wet. The fork truck couldn't get through the mud to the receiving doors, right? The tires should just get stuck in the mud. So that's why when you're paying those couriers that kind of money.
And that's what they say. You're paying for everything. That's why weed is so expensive, damn it. Because you got to push that shit through the mud.
Well, I mean, part of it is, I mean, it is expensive, right? Like our cost to produce a gram of cannabis at that facility was, I'm going to say between $4 and $5.50 actual cost to produce that gram of marijuana. So that's labor, that's electricity, that's nutrients.
Let me ask you a question real quick. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm still thinking about this X-ray machine thingy. Now, is it like an airport X-ray machine, like exactly like that?
Well, I don't know. I never saw the machine.
Because I'm sure the X-ray machines get updated every once in a while at big fancy airports, and they could sell their X-ray machines to say when you had your little facility going, and you could have it, and then you could irradiate all the time on an automatic.
You could run them through a kilo or a couple of pounds at a time on a conveyor, right?
Right, just a nonstop conveyor belt of irradiating, and then boom, it's out, and you don't have to worry about it no more. I'm trying
that might be really a viable solution for a smaller producer, right? If they're able to
get
that
come up with a cure here.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be a good thing because in a legal state like New York, like you have to trust your dispenser, especially when you're a medical patient. Imagine.
Yeah, let's go back to that real quick because
if you're immunocompromised already, like
what is New York going to do? Like, what do we do now?
I don't know, because the Office of Cannabis Management says that the concerns that are brought forth in this article really aren't concerns at all, but they are. You know what I mean? Health Canada
sound healthy to me.
Yeah, like Health Canada is a little too much on the regulation side of it. But when it comes to that sort of thing, I think it's not too much because you're smoking that, right? You're burning it. And inhaling mold spores can't be good for your lungs, right?
Well,
it can't be. So
that's what they say. I mean, when they put the big tent around your house and they do all that shit for mold, that's pretty much what you're trying to inhale on your doobies.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Like you can look at your weed, but you can't tell unless the mold, you can see, like, you can use a UV light, a purple light.
I'm gonna interrupt for a second, and I'm gonna say that the outer side would obviously dry quicker, and the mold would be deeper into the buds. That's where you're gonna find that mold, right? And farther in, because
Well, if it's visible mold, yeah.
Right. I mean, and even so, even that, and that, right? You're saying even I'm not even saying like
And
that's
we
not
would
even
catch
by
it.
the average eye. That would be by microscope or whatever to
Yep.
see it anyway.
See, we actually trimmed twice, right? Our harvests. On the day of harvest, everything that wasn't a cola, wasn't a top bud, wasn't a prize bud, right? All the smaller stuff went through a mechanical trim process before it went to the dry room. And then when it came out of the dry room, in between drying and going to cure, we manicured that product to give it the correct visual appearance, right? Because you'd have a little extra leaf that came out or whatever. We want the weed to look pretty. So I had a crew on a day, it usually took us, if we were doing 60 kilos, we could get through it in 2 days, 2.5 days. If we were doing 80 kilos, it might take us 4 days to do. But I'd have a crew of 10 or 12, and we'd work in the room and we'd do that. And people did find mold on buds during that process. Not all buds, but just a bud here and a bud there.
Yeah, but if you find it on one bud here, then you think the whole fucking batch has got to be having it, right? No.
Well, you think there's going to be a presence, absolutely. Whether it's, you know what I mean? Like some buds might just manifested more, so it's now visible, where it's not visible on others. But that's an indicator that, that you have to look deeper. Well, it can happen in the grow process itself.
Well, I know that. I mean, when I know that, like, you're in a factory and you're doing it professionally, but think about the people that we've been buying weed from for the last 50 years or so that they didn't have factories and they were doing it in their yard and all the shit we must have been smoking over our time.
Well, and this is the most dangerous time of year.
That's why that weed was brown or black or whatever the fuck color it was, because it was probably 90% fucking funkinitis.
Well, this is the worst time of year, and it's a shame that it happens at harvest. But the problem is that your buds are becoming dense now. So, and it's cold at night. So what happens when you go to your car in the morning after, at this time of year, when you go to the car, your windows have dew on the windows, right?
Oh, yeah, you might have dew, but here it's called frost because it's always fucking cold.
Well, you're not having frost yet because you're still 10 degrees above in the morning, but soon you'll be seeing frost. Within the next 2 or 3 weeks, you'll probably see a frost. You know what I mean? Early October, it's not unusual. But that means
43 today, buddy. 43 this morning.
The sun isn't intense enough during the day to suck all that moisture back out of your buds. And then if you get rain and then you get the cold nights, that's when botrytis and bud rot start to set in, is at this time of year. So let's say it rains through the night. You should be going out in the morning to your plants and actually shaking those branches and bud sites to try and remove as much of that water as possible so that the sun can hopefully get the rest out. That's why.
Not to mention that, like, when you have little bubbles, like they say, don't water your grass during the hot time of the day because those little water bubbles will reflect the sun and they'll burn the grass.
Yeah.
So if you have water bubbles on your plant and your light's too close or
well, it's like a magnifying glass, right?
Right. It's like a magnifying, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're gonna end up with yellow spots all over your plant or whatever, worse.
Yeah, well, that's why we've talked about it before, right? The watering, you should be watering your plant right at the time your lights come on. And there's no reason to water the branches and buds and leaves. You just water the soil.
Unless you want to make it look pretty and
especially at this time of year, that becomes dangerous. Like you can foliar your feed in the summertime, but you'd still want to do that process early in the day before the sun is at its most intense. But now's the time you have to be careful because your crop is just at that delicate stage where too much moisture can be a problem. Like in the grow room, as we approach the later weeks before harvest, the last 2 and 3 weeks, we were actually bringing dehumidifiers into the rooms. So in your veg, you don't mind to have 70% humidity in the room. You know what I mean? No problem. 70, 75. When you're cutting your clones, you're good at 80% humidity under the domes. That's why you leave the domes on, because you want it humid. But as you get closer to harvest, you want to start removing that humidity to decrease your chance of having issues with mold and bud rot and things like that. So we'd actually roll dehumidifiers into the rooms in order to suck down the humidity as much as we could. If we get it down to 50%, it was really good, you know, and that lowers your chances of losing a harvest to something like that, right?
Yes, I agree. I'm not going to have to worry about too much humidity because it's only the one plant, right? I'm thinking I should be all right.
Yeah, you're going to be inside. You're going to be okay. Just keep your air movement going. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same situation as having 1,000 plants in a room.
Should I have a fan on it today? Like right now already? Is it too young, or is it tall enough now to start getting that windy pressure?
Yeah, you want the plant to just have a gentle sway, right?
Barely sway, but I didn't know if I should be doing that already, or now that it's into the bigger pot that can start.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay,
because it's positive stress, right? If you got the fan running on the highest speed possible and you got it 2 feet from your plant, that's not good. But if you set your fan 5 or 10 feet from the plant and have it oscillate as it crosses the plant's path, it'll gently blow it. And then you can turn your plant every day, right? So that it goes different directions. So
right.
Yeah, you just give the pot a little bit of a spin. So when the airflow hits it, it stresses it the other direction. But that's positive for your plants. That's not negative at all.
Yeah. And then I go out and I curse at her a couple times. I'm like, bitch, you better grow right.
Yeah.
A little verbal stress as well. All right, Dr. High, I got to cut it because I'm in trouble. I didn't play a commercial. DJ Nephew Nick was right. So
what's that?
We didn't play that last commercial, so I got to get out of here before they catch me.
All right. Well, it's been a good day.
Yeah, it's been a great day. I had fun.
I will reach out to you in the morning when I have a better idea what my timing is like. I'm going to have my fingers crossed that I'll be able to make it in tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, no big deal. Like I said, I'm probably going to just come on and I'll just hang out and bullshit and play music and do our regular 2 hours. And when you get here, you get here. And if you don't, then that's it.
Yeah, that's it. But
Monday, we're going to make our CBD.
Yeah.
So make sure you have your shit ready for Monday. Everybody, thank you so much. Don't forget, Hippie has an enormous penis. If you're up there in the New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Canada area up there, get on over to Tailored Herbs and Concentrates and tell them that Hippie has an enormous penis for your free pre-roll. All of my sponsors, I want to thank you guys so very much for everything. You're amazing. I love you all. I can't thank you enough for keeping this going, and the train is going. We're getting there, man. Stay with us. Get on the bus. Stay on the bus. Everything's going all right.
The short bus.
Shh, don't tell him it's a short bus. Dr. High, I want to thank you too, man. You're the best, and I love hanging with you every day.
I have a great time here every day. I'm happy to do this. I just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it as well. And if we can help people every day, then that's what it's all about. Helping people, making them get the best quality of life. That's it.
Yep.
All right. I want to say
cannabis experience.
Uncle Roach is here. About time, Uncle Roach. All right.
Uncle Roach.
We're out of here, Uncle Roach.
Have a great day, everybody. If I don't see you again, have a great weekend. But hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow.
He'll be here tomorrow. I'm not going to let him get away with it. All right. Much love to Mrs. High and to you. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Peace, everybody.